might need to get some of these 5 tips on V Roberts, how to sort of, keep things sane over there at this time, Jamaica and Johannes as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming on. And first and foremost, before I go any further, I do apologize for the technical glitch, and this is beyond my control. Anyone right now who is doing and seeing what is happening with COVID-19 and the pandemic will realize that so many people are actually online. So many people are actually doing Facebook live stream. And what I'm getting to understand from some internet providers is that there's so much pressure on the system. At this time at 8 o'clock, it's a bad time to say, the pressure is on. Sunday morning at 9 o'clock up to 11, churches are on massive streaming. Some companies, because Facebook has even stopped the split screen to a bit, lots of providers have come forward. So lots of pressure, and there's a technical itch. But, fortunately, I got in touch with the technical persons and they sorted it out. So yes, I've got V Roberts on, and we're going to get cracking as much as possible. And thank you so much for being here. And of course, if you missed it because of the time factor, you can catch us on the replay, which is very key. Now, I believe it's very important at this time not to just talk about all the negative news. And I qualified myself when I say negative news. Death is negative, but at the same time, it is a reality. So I'm not going to say that all the people who are dying is negative, but lots of people are going through something now. The country is on lockdown, the pandemic. People are actually losing their job. People are actually losing their income. People in business, especially sole entrepreneurs, everything is going pandemic. But at the same time, one of the things that people are doing as well is reviving themselves, rebranding themselves, looking at how they can actually prepare when they go and what they can even do now. So I've got V Roberts, who's a multi-award winning brand and marketing consultant and coach. She's been on my show, the SYLBOURNE Show, before, a good friend of mine. And I said, who's the best person to get on to sort of spice us up and get us going as to what is really happening? V, good evening, and thank you so much for bearing through the technical hitch.
Good evening. Hope all is well. Also, good evening to your fans and followers and connections too.
Yes. Now, V, tell me now. First of all, your bio, I was reading it and I was contemplating, should I read it? And I said, no, I choose not to, because if I did it, the show would finish by the time it's finished. So let's let listeners know a bit, and those who are watching know a bit who you are.
Well, I will say it in a very quick summary, because I've got a whole web page dedicated to what I've done, my achievements and so on. But I am here to serve business owners, specifically women, in terms of a coaching and consulting capacity. But I work with men and women. And what I do is I give people clarity on what they can do to strategically position their brands and also monetize and sustain their business through any climate. And personally, I started my own business on just £100. I'm a mother of 4. I'm also, as you said, multi-award winning, but I mean, that doesn't really come into it necessarily, when you're giving advice. But in terms of credibility, I'm also an advisor for NatWest Bank, Virgin Business Startup, and the Sherry Blair Foundation. So I give advice, paid and unpaid. I've got lots of free tips online as well. But I'm very passionate about helping business owners.
And I like what you say, free and not free, also, because I noticed you, I think even today you just went out and you just giving people their tips. Things were just flowing out, and you're saying, this is what you're saying. Listen, if I don't even know it, I know it. If I don't know it, I'll find out I know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those people that alleged to profess to know everything. I know quite a bit. I've been in the industry 24 plus years. I'm not a textbook brand and marketing expert. So what I share is what I know has worked for me, for the clients I've worked for, the globals, the internationals, etc. And I apply that in my own business, and I advise clients to do the same. And then they make their own decision on whether or not they want to take my advice. But what I don't know, I do a lot of live Q&As where people put me on the spot and ask me questions. To date, I've never had a question that I can't answer, but I'm always up for the challenge, and that's why I give that kind of word of caution that should anything come up that I don't know, I don't know everything, I'll happily go away and find out the information and get back to that individual.
Fantastic. Great. Now, listen, with the whole pandemic and COVID, what is happening now, people are thinking, what are some of the things, some of the 5 key tips or so that you think about in respect of business. People are actually at this junction now during COVID-19. I mean, one of the things that I picked up was, what option would you suggest if people are on like a low budget at this time? Money is low. Startup may be a factor, but there's no startup things maybe going on. What would you say to someone now who's thinking, what can I do now? I don't have not much money, but I want to do something.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I would definitely say to research whatever the idea is, unless it's something that's proven to have worked before offline and you can bring it online. My first piece of advice would be to research the idea. So whether or not there's a need in the market, whether or not people are going to actually relate or resonate with the offer that you may have is key, because a lot of us will think that, everyone's going to want to buy my course, everyone's going to want to buy, my book. And actually, what's key is that whatever we are selling now or offering now or sharing now should resonate and be relevant with people that need our services and products. So there's no point going out and starting a new business, I don't know, selling travel, because right now we don't even know when flights are going to be back on.
Yeah.
And even with a book now, pay later, we still don't know when flights are going to be back on. So the chances of you selling lots of flights may be slim in comparison to, let's say, for example, setting up a Shopify store where people can buy, products and services for business products.
Yeah. So what would you say then at this time? What are some of the maybe what I think the right word is process of elimination that person should think about when they're saying, okay, I need to do something at this moment now. Should I make mask? Like somebody said from Jamaica, should I make a mask? And right now it's like it's turning into something for her in Jamaica now, because people are coming to her from a local video she did. We are talking about should she ship it here, but then I said, listen, nobody doing that, because people over here already starting to create lots of masks as well. It's really what are some of
the same. I mean, as I said, it's fine to diversify. If you've already got an existing business, and what I would say is look at ways to make what you've got at the moment work for you. So rather than reinventing the wheel or trying to do something brand new, see if there's something relevant to what's going on now in today's climate. So, for example, hair salon owners, they cannot do hairdressing, but they might be able to sell DIY kits or brushes and combs and rollers for people to use at home, right? That's relevant now because we know everyone's at home. The same with people that do events. I've got a client that does party planning. She normally goes in with the mascot outfit and does the whole event and entertainment. And I've said to her, look, come up with an idea, which she did for Easter, to do an online Easter egg hunt. And then after she did the online Easter egg hunt, she's then gone on to create packages where children and their families can actually sit down and create something that's the equivalent of a birthday party bag. Like the party bag you take home, but it's full of creative ideas. So she's diversified a little bit, but it's still relevant to her current offer, if that makes sense.
Right.
So if someone's thinking, what should I do? I would say do your research first if it's not already a proven idea that you've tried and tested before. Maybe create a small sample to see if there's a demand for it, but really you want to be making sure that there is a demand before you go away and start spending time, or investing money even in producing products and services. A lot of people are rushing to do courses, rushing to create content and things, and there's not even necessarily a need, or the market is saturated and they don't even know how to stand out or how to promote their business. So the research is key, and also understanding, is there a need, and if there is, how would you then promote that product or service? So I think those are kind of three key points. And business isn't for everyone. So in today's climate, with it already being tough, the other piece of advice I would give is that if someone's watching this either live or on the replay and they're thinking, I want to start a business, business is an effort. Showing up, being consistent, having a brand that people resonate with, being able to promote yourself effectively requires resilience, requires consistency, requires a level of patience. And not everybody's cut out to do business. I want to make that very clear. So for some of us, the idea might be actually, okay, I had a thriving business and I'm not too confident now in the current climate. So let me pause on that. Let me look at something else I can do. Let me even go and look at getting a part-time job in a supermarket. There's no shame in that. We have to do what's right for us right now. And for some of us, actually running a business is not a sensible idea. We're in environments with lots of family. We've got lots of things on top of us. And running a business definitely as a new venture, is I would say think carefully about doing that in this climate.
It's interesting what you said about not everybody is the business, because the UK recently, I think, just imported or shipped over, I don't know how many thousands of workers to work in the field in the UK picking berries and all those sort of things, because there's such a need now for this, and because of the whole COVID. So therefore, and a lady, she was on the TV today, and she was saying, well, I'm going to do it because, you know, I'm bored, I'm free, there's nothing doing. So people have to look at different ways how they can do it. Yeah. Now, the second thing we talk about, one of the things that you were talking about is, should people then at this moment be going through a process of rebranding, revising themselves, and what do you say about that? Yeah.
Well, I think if it's two completely different products and services, then yes. I mean, if you're a gardener and then you're going to go into, I don't know, baking cakes, the two brands, the two products and services are not at all relevant. They're on other ends of the scale, unless, of course, you're baking cakes that are, you know, images or using visuals that relate to gardens. Okay, there's no link there. Your clients are probably going to be very different. So therefore, yes, I would definitely advise a client of mine anyway, if they were going to do a completely new idea, to brand from scratch. But if there's a related matter, so if it's a gardener that's going to start selling gardening tools, or they're going to start doing online landscaping advice, then you could stick with the same brand because it's related, and obviously the audience is probably going to be quite similar. There is a relationship there between the products and the services offered.
Right. And then, so what do you then say now? Let's say, for argument's sake, persons now, and this is something we're talking about. If business now was 100% offline before, what do they do now in this online solution industry? What if the business was 100% offline, as we're talking?
Well, it depends on the industry, to be honest. I think for people that are in an offline, I mean, I've got clients that I work with that are 100% used to do expos and exhibitions, right? So they were always going out, always doing expos and exhibitions, selling their skincare, selling their dolls, selling their tangible products. And all I've advised those people to do, and it may be relevant to other industries as well, is to look at how you can bring that online. So I give you the example already of the event planner that I'm working with, the hair salon, the nail artist that I work with, the interior designers that are very much out there, even estate agents. If what you were doing before was very much offline, you need to now look at whether or not there is scope to bring that online. So that might look at you again exploring and doing some research, looking at the market, what else is out there. If you've done something else that's been tried and tested, then I would definitely look at what you can do. I mean, today I spoke on I was booked to do a session around how you can pivot with your marketing, and the lady that was actually running that session was actually saying that she'd always wanted to do online networking with women, and because of what's happened with COVID-19, what she's actually decided is that she has to now go into the online space. She's now looking at membership groups. She's now looking at how she can bring her events into a monthly cycle online. So I'm saying, if you're offline, look at what you can do online. Consider the budget and resources that might be available or required. Consider the time that you might need to invest in doing that, and be realistic and manage your own expectations, because as I said, it's not easy, and actually there's a lot of work involved. And with everything going on around us and everybody now piping up and saying they're an expert in the online space in everything, it's very competitive. So it has to be a very clear cut understanding of what you'll be doing, who would actually buy it. Have you done it before? Has it worked before? How would you promote it or distribute it? And also, how would you track your own success? Keeping yourself accountable.
Just listening to you now, is it coming across very complicated and technical at this time, or just for people to really spend that quality time and sort of focus as to what is it that they really want?
Well, I think personally, I've got 4 children, 3 of whom live at home with me, 2 who are under 8. So for me to say, if I was not doing what I do now and I didn't have knowledge of how to do online courses and things like that, I think it would be really hard with homeschooling and running the house and everything else. I think it would be very demanding to try and do something online now without any previous expertise if I wasn't tech savvy. So I think if someone's like me watching this now or watching on the replay, and they're thinking about doing something that is going to be, an online program, an online course, an online webinar, an online summit, just be realistic in managing your own expectations, because yes, it's technical. Life can get technical, but it's about how you navigate your way through that. It's about you understanding what you need to do and actually mapping out the activities you're going to need to do, when you're going to do them by, and having a project plan that you can kind of look back at that's actionable, in easy steps, in baby steps. A lot of us have got time on our hands right now, but some of us have got time on our hands, but we're having to divvy it up with other things, as in family stroke, personal stroke, other matters. So online is a good thing, creating content, doing courses is a very good thing.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm in my car because I don't want my little ones to, they've got an extended evening tonight, so I don't want them to come out and be in the house bothering me. I want to just do this and flow straight.
Yes.
So yeah, if someone's watching this and they're thinking about it, I don't be put off. There's a lot of digital platforms that are free.
And as you can see, the question, what is scrolling across, which I just brought up there, is should I go digital, quick fire, and
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a question that's come in, or
No,
that's a
no,
question
no. That is just it flows straight into there when you talk about digital, about going
Yeah.
digital, because people are talking about going digital. It's for the future,
Yeah.
future for digital. But based on what is happening now, you got to do it now.
Digital's now. I mean, anyone who's not on social media, or at least one platform, anybody who's not using, email, even if it's not templated and lovely designs, anyone who's not started to use video, even if it's not your own video content, maybe you're just sharing someone else's, you have to be active now because, as I said, the online space is going to be saturated, and it's not,
Mm,
it's not a scarcity mindset where, oh, there's not going to be enough to go around. There's plenty to go around, but if you adapt, or rather adopt, an early approach where you're getting into the market early, you're
yes.
launching early rather than waiting for the next 90 days when this is all dying down to then launch something and expect everyone to buy it, you're doing yourself a disservice, because right now what we should be doing, even if we don't want to sell, is keeping that momentum going in our business. So
Mm,
actually having conversations, speaking to individuals, reaching out to people, connecting with suppliers, speaking to people that we could collaborate with, and really trying to kind of navigate and set ourselves up, get our ducks in a row, because when this is all over, I was saying this morning on a call that I was on, it's going to be like a big carnival. Everyone's going to be looking at things to buy, from hair to
yes. Yes.
products. And you know what, if you're in business, especially if you've got a business to business audience, or you're thinking of starting something that you're going to market to other business owners,
Yes.
now's a good time to start building your online community, and you can do that in a number of ways, for zero budget, other than your time, on a zero budget.
Right. So therefore, so what I'm looking at now, and this is it. This is a key thing now for someone listening now, is how can I then make myself unique? Try to be unique amidst the Florida noise and the pandemic, in the sense of people all going crazy over this. How do I make myself unique? What are some of the key tips or the key pointers into being unique?
Well, I think it's important. I can't go into too much detail now, but I think
Yes, sure, of
if
course.
people want to see
Wait,
how
wait,
to
wait,
make
wait, wait.
business.
Before we go any further, when you give that little tip, just tell them how to connect to you to go to your courses.
Yeah, my information's on YouTube. There's lots of free content on YouTube, and I'm
Yes,
also on Instagram. There's a link on my Instagram right now. I've got lots of information. My hashtag is AskI2M. So
yes.
you can actually connect with me on any of the platforms on social. But I think what's important to bear in mind is that with where everything's going now, in terms of being unique, it's more about how you're going to share your brand story and make it resonate. So, for
Mm,
example, my brand story, many people know, I started my business after being made redundant.
yes,
I'd gone through bullying. I'd gone through being told when I could and couldn't start work, when I had to finish late, collect my children late. It was really quite draining. And when I got the offer to take a redundancy package, I stupidly spent it all. And
yes.
then I went and started my business when I had my last £100 left. So that's my brand story. And how
Mm,
I can make that relevant now, as an example, is that in my journey of starting a business on £100, I've
yes,
had to apply and learn what I've applied, and apply what I've learned, rather, in terms of running a business on a small budget. And many people need that help now, because
yes.
many of us are without jobs, working part-time, thinking of new ideas, but maybe want to launch on a very small budget. So I've made that a relevant part of my story that I know will resonate with people in this climate. So what's important is to stand out, think about your brand personality,
Mm,
and also who you're trying to attract, and on an emotional level, what is it that they would actually, what would make them click with your brand?
yes,
A lot of us have brand stories to share. Some we will divulge everything, others we will hold back on stuff. But
yes.
I think in today's climate, there's a lot of things that people can resonate with, from family life through to health and well-being, through to recharging, rejuvenating, and in any sector, it's just important to understand how you differentiate yourself from someone else. The
Right.
key way to do that is to appreciate that you're not the same as anybody else. You are
Right.
unique because of your journey, your business journey, your education, your schooling, your family life, the choices you make, your belief systems. That's unique to you, and there's no one that can do what you
You.
do in the
Yeah.
way you do it. And that may sound cliche, but that's the truth. I mean, you go to a car showroom, Mercedes, Bentley, there are various ranges of Mercedes, right? There's
Yeah.
a coupe, there's a 2-door, there's a 5-door, there's a 7-seater. And if you think of yourself as a Mercedes, or a different class of car in a showroom, around amongst lots of other cars that are also Mercedes, the way I would break it down for your listeners and viewers today is we all have unique qualities,
Right.
features, benefits. So it may be leather seating, it might be heated seats. It could be that the gear stick falls down from the ceiling of your car. It could
Yes.
be that you just, put your wrist to the gear stick to make it start. There could be a number of things. But each of us have unique qualities. And I think once we identify within our industry how we are different, the brand experience as well is very important. So thinking
Yeah.
about how our brand experience, when someone talks to you, when they email you, when they go into your shop, when they visit your website, what's the experience your brand gives them? Because again, that's something that can really make brands stand out. Basic things like packaging,
Yes.
your greeting, your salutation, your email sign off are things that can actually really
Yes.
make your brand stand out. Even customer service, I could go really deep, but the key thing is to qualify. Who am I? Who am I trying to target? What's my brand story? What do I want to share with my audience to
Yes.
connect with them on an emotional level? Most people have some kind of need or trigger. When we're looking for a supplier to help us to speak more confidently, or to help us to redecorate our home, or to help us to, start writing a book, there are specific things we're looking for, even subconsciously as
Mm.
consumers, when we are scouring through the internet or looking online. And if you put yourself in the consumer's shoes and
Yes.
understand, okay, at what point of their journey, of their life, would they be looking for my product or service? What are the kinds of search terms they might put into the internet to find me? Why might they choose me over someone else? These are the kinds of things that I think more business owners need to be doing to really establish what it is that makes them special, because we're all special in our
Yeah.
own way. And once you understand that and you're confident in how special you are, that's when you start showing up with a real brand authority. And again, that's actually what is going to separate a lot of people out here, particularly at this time.
That's very interesting. And ladies and gentlemen, what the key thing, what I just picked up right there from V and what you just said a while ago, is you are special, and therefore there's no one special as you. And the best way to do it is to do you, not to follow other persons, if anything
Yeah.
like that. And we just talked about, and I just a question which is rolling across there, or one of the tips is how about connecting to your audience?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What tactics can people use to connect with their audience without bombarding them? And I think this is a time whereby persons might get desperate and just really, I need to do this, I need to do that. But how can they subtly connect with their audience without letting their audience feel like I'm being bombarded?
Yeah, I mean, that is twofold. That's a really good question. That's twofold because on one part, I think the audience bombardment is definitely an angle, but the other part of that is that realistically, there's only so much we can do as solopreneurs, or even in a small team.
Yes.
And what I find a lot when clients come to work with me or get advice is that we're working with some really unrealistic goals. Sometimes we want to make, 1 million in a week, and we only have a £50 marketing budget, or we only
Yeah.
have an hour for that week to focus on our business, and we still expect to make 1 million. So, other things like people being online on all the platforms of social media rather than actually homing in on one or two that are going to yield the best results. Being able to make informed decisions is what's imperative here. And I think for a lot of business owners, um, the way to kind of reduce overwhelm and not bombard yourself and others is to work with a plan. And I'm a sucker for planning, and that is
Yes.
actually what I'm very passionate about, is giving my clients and those that interact with my brand clarity on the best way to progress through strategic marketing planning. Okay, so when you're looking at brand management and brand development, when you're looking at ways in which you can actually reach an audience, what you want to be doing is managing your own expectations, setting yourself some realistic and quantifiable objectives. So let's say in the next 30 days, your
Yes.
listeners and your viewers, you know, how many units do you want to sell of your product? How many people do you want to address online? How many new connections do you want to make on your social media? How
Yes.
many people do you want to drive to your website? That's like having a quantifiable objective. And at the end of that 30 days or halfway through, you know, after day 14, day 15, you might look at your stats to say, okay, I need to up my level a little bit because I'm nowhere near my target. And, you know, there has to be slippage as well with targets. But I think the easiest way is to actually look at what you need to do and the resource you've got to do it, and be realistic, because a lot of us are working with these long to-do lists. So first of all, being clear on the platforms you want to be on. I'm talking about
Yes.
online because obviously in the climate we're in, most of us aren't offline.
Yes.
But I can dabble in the offline if you want to, because I do focus on strategic integrated marketing planning. Online, I would say at a minimum, if you can, look at how you can use tools like video, right? There's lots of different things. There is a video app that's just come out called Wave Video. There
Yes.
is Ripple, RIPL. There is Movely. There is Animoto. There is YouTube. There are different platforms you can use for video. And there are also, for some of you that don't have websites, Instagram has got a platform that you can use now. I think it's called Milkshake,
Mm.
which is where you can set up a really easy, free and simple website, okay, through
Yes.
Instagram. So go and check that out if you're watching this, and let me know what you think of it. I'm going to be dabbling in it myself this weekend as a tester for some training for my paid membership group. But there are different things you can do. So if you don't have to have a website, but I would say get yourself onto platforms like LinkedIn. Have at least one video that you can use on YouTube, because
Yes.
Google owns YouTube. So if people are
Yes.
looking for your product or service and you've got that one video with those keywords in the caption and the description, you know, you have more of a chance of being found than
Yes.
if you don't have a video. And it's the same with LinkedIn and Amazon as well. They are very good for SEO. So focus on what's key. And I would say, if you don't have a website, LinkedIn, one video at least,
Yes.
and some social media engagement. And then if you've got more time, look at how you can use email marketing and things like WhatsApp and messaging, and ensure that you get the right buy-in. Get the opt-in from the people that are receiving the communication. Do your GDPR checks or necessary data management, data protection, legals to make sure you're covered and you're not annoying people. But I think that would be advised. And just map it out, plan it out,
Yes.
what you're going to do. 30-day, 60-day, 90-day.
These are some powerful gem there. And one of the last one which I'll do is, and you sort of dealt with it, but if somebody's now not a video person, but maybe an email person, and asking, well, what should I do first, video or email? You know, what do I do first? Email, video? What do you say? Or is it a combination?
I'm going to say there's a combination, but I'm going to
Yeah.
actually say video, right? Because a lot of people are very anxious about doing video, being seen on screen. I myself, believe it or not, was very anxious about being the face of my brand. There is a difference between whether you're a personal brand or a business brand. I
Yes.
go into that a bit on my YouTube channel. For those of you that are in the public-facing, more personalized services, then you do need to look at your personal brand. And the best way to manage that through video is to just start off with doing a very informative or educational piece around who you are, you know,
Yes.
why you started your business and how you help others, because that's what people want to know, or offer some valuable tips.
Mm.
And then the magic happens when you then embed that video into an email. And that could be
Yeah.
a designed email on a platform like MailChimp or Constant Contact or Acuity
Yes.
Scheduling, or it could just be something that you just copy and paste the link and put it into, you know, a LinkedIn article or a Google Mail post. You know,
And,
it's entirely up to you.
and what is very interesting is that somebody just putting out um, 5 tips or 7 tips of why they do something or how they do something
Yeah.
can work wonders. And how do we turn on the light if the light goes off? You know, you can do that very easy. You know? You put your hands up, you touch the button, and waboom, the lights come on. Because I tell you, this a classic example is, you know, with the whole pandemic and lockdown, churches are now all going online on streaming.
Yes.
And I'm helping my church with the streaming and everything. And then we realized one time that nobody was doing the moderating of what thing was happening. So I was asked to create some tips for moderation. So I had to do my research, and even though I do it regular, but then I sat down and do it. I said, and I'm going to do a little training on it. I said, cool, maybe I can even do that. But you know, these are how things sort of happen, isn't it, V?
Yes.
You
I
just,
am here.
yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
know you're there.
Things are changing, things are moving forward, and I think what a lot of us need to appreciate is that in this time now, we have time. We have time to focus on our business. We have time to ensure that we spend time looking at our business and focus on what's important. And I think once you understand what your priorities are, you can then map out what you need to do, and
Yes.
the amount of time or resources you're going to need to do it. And that is where you get the gold stars for your own business. If you're a business owner watching this, it's imperative that you review your business, look at your budget, look at the resource you've got available to make things happen, and be realistic.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know?
Now that's powerful. That's powerful. But V, listen, that was good, and that, I mean, we could go on forever, but we'll keep it down. Some nice bite chunk, what's it called? Chunk bite chunk, whatever you call it,
Yeah.
bite size, so people can run with it, and then we'll get the part two. People can go to your site. Please let us know now, about your business and how people can actually tap into you now.
Right.
Yeah.
First of all, let me just ask you, because I'm in my car. You've probably seen I've been doing the live
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
in my own AV tonight. Can you hear my engine humming in the background?
No.
Okay, cool. Because I don't want to
No.
be
No.
talking now and then there's noise in the background. So
Yeah.
apologies to the viewers. Yeah, I mean, basically, as I said at the start, what I do is consulting and coaching. So I work with people in a number of ways. If you've got a business idea, or maybe you're thinking of how you can monetize your brand, or maybe you're looking to go into a new market, let's have a conversation. If you're wanting to review what you've done in the last 3 months, in the last year, in the last 6 months, then I can help with that as well. In fact, on Monday, depending on when this goes out, I know it's going live now,
It's
but
going. It's
depending on when
going
you watch it.
right after this. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so on Monday the 20th through to the 24th of April, I'm running a 5-day coaching program where we will be looking at your individual business objectives, and also what you've done to date from January to now, or even previous years, and how we can actually review that and make you get better results through actually tweaking your branding and marketing. So I'm going to be doing 5 days of coaching for just £27, and in those sessions of daily lives across 5 days, I'll be teaching you how you can actually change what you're doing to get the best possible results at this time. And that's something that I do with my mentees. That's something that I do with my coaching clients. But I've been doing this now for the last 4 years, the 5-day challenge. And I know it helps a lot of
What
business
date?
owners.
What date it is? I'm just going to let it scroll. What date is it?
Okay, so it's the 20th right through to the 24th. It's 5 days of live Q&A, live tips. You can ask me anything at any time of the day, but I will go live every day at 8 p.m. and there'll be replay videos. You also have access to workbooks and trainings with me, and I'll be taking each participant through what they're doing in their business at the moment when it comes to branding and marketing, and what they can actually do to improve it, so that we can get better results in the next period that they've
Yeah.
chosen to
That's
focus on.
that's April.
Yeah, it's happening the 20th to the 24th of April.
That's next week. Okay.
Aside from that, I do lots of things. I'm live every Wednesday on my Instagram page, which is Insight, the number 2 marketing. So I'm
Yes.
live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. BST, which is also 7 a.m. EST, or
Yes.
Caribbean time. So you can check me out there and ask me anything there. And I'm quite a lovely lady in terms of being approachable and accessible. So,
Well, that's why I was able to approach her very quickly, because she's very, very pleasant.
yeah.
and also, I'll be, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to worry. I'll drop the details on the YouTube channel as well, where you can
Yes.
actually see all the different ways where you can click link to get onto the
Yeah.
and so like that. Is there anything else? I mean, in regards to the coronavirus and everything, what's your thought? How are you going through with it, if anything, with your family?
Well, I didn't panic buy. So
You didn't
I
have.
haven't stocked up on loads of toilet roll and pasta and rice.
Yes. Yes.
In fact, I've taken this opportunity to invest in a blender. I've taken this opportunity, well, it's a second blender, taking this opportunity to start using my air fryer and my steamer a lot more. And
Yes.
I would say I'm actually using this time to reflect a lot. I was saying earlier on, I've actually clawed back on some of my bigger programs that should have been launched in April. And these
Yes.
are programs that have been running year on year.
Yes.
And I've pulled back on them because of the climate. Again, it's about being relevant and understanding the market.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people are watching the pennies right now. Those that need the higher end services, such as one-to-one coaching and so on, then they work with me in the background. But my big coaching program that I normally run, which lasts for 6 months, I held off on that. So I'm doing a smaller version of that with a smaller group. And of course, I've got my paid membership community. But I've taken this time, to just really sit back and reflect.
Yes.
And I've
Fantastic.
also sold out of, as I announced today on my page, you might have seen actually, I think you joined the live when I
Yeah, I joined the last
my
year.
planner. This is the last copy. I actually found one more, so I'm actually redoing these. So if anyone wants to get more clarity in terms of their branding or marketing, I'm a self-published author. I've created a planner with weekly and monthly information in it, campaign ideas, budgeting tips, all kinds of things. And I'm on my last one, so
V,
those are going to be reordered.
V, can you give that away to someone who can answer a question or so for you on this live?
Yeah, you know what? I can't give that one away because someone's already bagged that one. Literally the last 40 minutes. But what I can do is offer a space for an existing business owner, someone that's already in business, must be running a business now, registered, to actually join me on the 5-day coaching program. I'm happy to give away a place on the program, which is next week, and they must be available next week from the 20th to the 24th. There'll be no alternatives offered, no cash alternatives offered. So if the winner is selected via yourself, that they must be available to do the coaching program in next week.
Okay, so what we're saying is that somebody will be able to go onto the course on the gift of V. How they can do that is by the I don't know how do we do that?
Well, what they could do if they want to, they could actually look at my latest posts or any post on my page and just comment on it.
Fantastic. Well, there you go.
I'll actually create a post now, and then they can comment on that. We'll see what happens with that.
Fantastic, fantastic. V. Roberts, thank you so much.
All right, just to say, when they comment, you're going to be responsible for choosing the winner, Sylbourne. So you need to think of all the terms and conditions.
Okay, right. Don't worry.
Let's make that clear. I don't want 20 people commenting and then expecting all 20 to join.
All right.
One winner will be selected.
Okay. I will follow that up, and we'll talk about which actual posts you do, and if anybody come at me, I'll say, listen, you can all go. You can all go.
Oh, I'd love to. Lots of free tips on the YouTube. So if anyone doesn't, get through on the
and ladies and gentlemen, I just need to add that as well. The point about what V said. Lots of tips. If you catch her in the car, she's just rolling off tips upon tips, tips upon tips, and you just grab your pen and pencil because it's like there is an avalanche. I'm Jamaican. Sometimes my slang goes all over the place. An avalanche or a roaring rushing river, whereby things are just going out and then just bye and they go.
Yeah. Full of ideas. You take them as you want. You implement what you want. But I have a gift, and I've acknowledged that gift. I'm definitely talented when it comes to strategy and branding and marketing planning.
Fantastic. Well, V, listen, I want to thank you so much for coming on, and enjoy the rest of the evening. And
thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I thank V so much for coming on. Thank you so much for coming on. Next week on the 22nd, I'll be having the Mr. Julian Hall from the Entrepreneur, and I believe on the Friday, which is the 25th, I'll be having Natalia, a singer, which she might even sing us something. And for those who follow me on Facebook as well, I'll be having the Jamaica High Commissioner coming on at 8 p.m. On Facebook. Of course, we try to do that on YouTube as well, where you'll be speaking about some questions a lot of people have been asking about the pandemic and lockdown and how it affects Jamaica and how Jamaicans over here can assist Jamaica or whatever like that. So there's lots of raft of things coming on. We've got H and Hell, more persons coming on. So keep close and remember, this is what I've always been told, V, and I've not been doing it, but I've been saying, subscribe to my channel, right? Right, V? Isn't that what I should always do?
Yeah, subscribe, hit that red button.
Hit subscribe, hit that red button, and then my little daughter, she's 8, she's now doing the videos now, and she said, touch the bell, or something like that.
Notifications on.
Okay, well, thank you very much, V, and
no problem.
All the best. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on, and it's much appreciated, and it was a good show, and I thank V for coming on, and I'm sure you're actually enriched with enriched with many information, and all the best and good night. Thank you.